This LinkedIn Live is with Dr. Bob Gomersall, which is really exciting. He's written a book called Worthwhile Wealth, which I have to say quite carefully. Would you like to just show us the front of the book? I love this cover, Bob. There we go. Isn't it beautiful? And this is one of the 22 practical inspiration titles that have been shortlisted for the Business Book Awards this year, which is very exciting. So I'm doing this series of LinkedIn Live conversations with the authors to find out a little bit more about the books, so you can get to know them a little bit more. And don't forget, all of these books are going to be 99 pence or 99 cents on the Kindle store. So if you like the sound of it, grab it while it's hot. First of all, Bob, tell us why you wrote the book.
Well, I did a lot of leading in the mountains. And what I found was leading people in the mountains is that they often tell me things that they probably wouldn't do in a normal everyday life. It's a funny thing, especially when they're in a frightening situation. People particularly do that. And one of the things I often heard was, I hate my job. And you go into why and what you're going to do about it and so on. And that's partly what we think, well, I found myself giving people advice about what they could do about it. And the other thing I always often heard was, I've made my money and now I can do exactly what I want to do, but I don't know what I want to do. And both those led me to think, well, perhaps I need to think about, I keep saying the same thing over and over again. Perhaps I ought to sit down and think about writing a book. And sort of on the happier side, I came across a lot of case studies and met people, which became case studies for the book, met people who'd really sorted it out and worked out what they wanted out of life and created businesses to allow them to do that. And it wasn't sometimes about making money, but often it was about very different things. And so that was what sort of made me think about that. And so it was people wanting to think about their motivation. I was trying to help them think about their motivation. There are lots of reasons why people do set up business. You wouldn't believe it to watch the TV or listen to the press. You think that everybody just wants to get filthy rich, and that's the only reason for setting up a business. Or in practice, what we find is a lot of people do it for very different reasons. Legacy, maybe, to give them a lifestyle, to do something that they think is really worthwhile. They've got a great idea and they just want to develop that great idea, or they just want respect for what they've achieved. All those things are really good. And a lot of people, I think, don't realize that that is just as good a reason for setting up a business as making money. And I think another bad influence is things like The Apprentice, which I've watched it on television. It's great, but it gives a really false impression of what people do and why people set up businesses. And so
it doesn't give them a very good. You wouldn't want to have these people around for dinner, particularly, would you?
not really, no. And in the end, I think successful business is really just about making yourself useful in some way. If you're making yourself useful, people will pay you to be useful. And if you make yourself doing useful things that you like doing, or that you think benefit from a wider community or something like that, then I think that's really what matters. And if people realize that, and a lot of people do realize that, then they set up really good businesses. And there are a lot of case studies in my book which go into that. Perhaps I can just explain, go into one of them, which I think is a good friend of mine who he taught for 20 years. He trained as an engineer and taught, and he just got fed up with it, and it all came apart. And so he went to see a careers consultant about what to do. And he said, well, what do you like doing? That's a great start, actually. What do you like? I said, what's a good start? And he said, well, I like singing. And what are you qualified to do? Well, teaching. So isn't it obvious what you should be doing then?
You need somebody from outside to say that, though.
Yeah,
just join the dance.
Absolutely. And it did, but then of course he did no idea how to get going. But he looked into it, worked it out, and he realized that setting up choirs, natural voice choirs as it happens, would be the way to do it. And that's what he did. He set up 4 choirs, and it's been, he's still doing it. And when he's doing it, he's really in the zone. He just loves doing it, and it's marvelous to watch, really.
And that's why I love the book, because it really, it's sort of like you don't have to be a slave to the wage packet. You don't have to set something up just actually the businesses that really make your heart sing are the ones that are uniquely you and kind of marry all your
exactly.
uniqueness and the things that you love doing and make that into your business.
Yes, it's exactly. And I mean, there are other things you could do. You can arrange it so you get to live exactly where you want to do, and nobody's sending you around the world.
Now, near the hills, for example.
Sorry?
Near the hills, for example.
Near the hill. Oh, well, yes. In my case, that's it. I need to be near the hill, so I don't want somebody to send me down to the south of England. You know, I like it where I am in the north. Up north, it's hard up north, but
yeah. Don't tell them; they'll come up.
Don't tell anybody how good it is. Really, that's
brilliant.
Yeah.
And Bob, you weren't with us down south in London when the shortlisting event was on. So how did you react? How did you find out, and how did you react?
Oh, well, I was very surprised, actually, to be honest. I'm not as confident about this thing as it's the only book I've ever written, and so I was absolutely delighted, but very surprised. And well, there we are. I mean, when you write a book, you're putting yourself out there, and so it's a bit quite frightening, really, because you think, oh crumbs, I'm going to get a lot of criticism or whatever. So it's absolutely wonderful to make the progress on this, but I'm really thrilled about it.
You should be. It's a very high bar. Being a finalist in Business Book Awards. So yeah,
well, good. That's great. yeah,
great. And are you coming down to London on the 10th of September?
Oh yeah. I couldn't.
Be glad rags on.
Well, I might put my kilt on if you ask nicely, or maybe if you ask me not to.
This is exciting. You all heard it here. This is happening. This is absolutely happening. Amazing. Fantastic. Bob, it's such a joy to talk to you today, and brilliant also to just find out a little bit more about why you wrote that book and what the kind of the vision is behind it. As I say, it's 99 cents on the Kindle store at the moment. So if you caught a little bit of that and you wanted to find out more, go and grab a copy and discover why it was shortlisted.
Great. Okay. Lovely talking to you, Alison.
Really good to talk to you. Thanks for your time today, Bob. Bye. Thanks.